Finally, One Piece episode 1141 has arrived, and guess what? The giant warrior pirates decided to make a grand entrance at the party. Luffy is so excited that he unleashes a new Gear 5 attack that sends Agora CI flying further than a shower with low pressure. And as if that weren't enough, the Blackbeard pirates have finally decided to make their sinister move in Egghead. Stay tuned until the end to find out what Blackbeard's true goal is, because things are getting serious. The episode starts with the giants storming the coast, and it's such a glorious sight that even the sun got jealous. The iconic Viking Drakkar, the Great Eric, is surfing the waves like a digital influencer on Instagram, while Dory and Broggy, the legendary co-captains, start shouting orders as if they were the heads of a chaotic kitchen. These titans, both 160 years old and over 20 meters tall, are known as the Blue Oni and the Red Oni of Elbaf. And after more than a century of dueling in Little Garden, definitely a boring vacation spot, they are finally back in action. Dory tells Oimo and Kashi to take the main force, circle around the island, and start sinking every marine ship they see. And guess what? They are super excited about it, remembering how Usopp freed them from half a century of being tricked into guarding Eni's lobby. The rest of the giant crew lets out a war cry so loud that even the seagulls got scared and took flight, raising their axes and charging toward Egghead. And the Marines? They are screaming into their Denden mushies as if they've seen a ghost. A legendary pirate crew that was disbanded a century ago just showed up out of nowhere to help a Yonko. And now they are tearing the Buster Call blockade apart at the Labao phase. Someone is gasping, and it's our friend Usopp. He's looking through the binoculars and crying as if he just watched his favorite movie get destroyed. He shouts the names of the giants, still not believing it's real, as if he were at a high school reunion. Nami, always the sharpest, spots Oimo and Kashi in the chaos and pieces everything together faster than a 10,000-piece puzzle. Wow, they must have gone to Little Garden to pick up their captains. This is a huge relief for Usopp, who was terrified he'd never see them again in Elbaf, like he always dreamed. Edison is so impressed with the giant's power that he could lose his speech. He realizes that the news of the incident in Egghead must have leaked. And even with the world government trying to spin the story, the giants knew who to trust. Usopp snaps back to reality. The giants are here for a rescue mission, not a full-blown war. They need to finish their escape preparations right now because the situation is getting hotter than an oven on pizza day. That moment, the Denden Mushi rings. It's Brook and Lilith on the Thousand Sunny, which is still sliding across the frozen clouds like it's on a roller coaster. They are approaching the edge, but they have no way to stop the ship. Lilith, however, says she has an idea but needs Nami and the others to pay close attention and follow her instructions, because who hasn't gotten lost on GPS at least once in their life? Meanwhile, Jinbe is still bouncing across the clouds, making a beeline for Zoro. And speaking of Zoro, he is still locked in a brutal stalemate with Rob Lucci. This fight has been going on for so long that you'd think they were competing in a contest of who can last longer. Both of them are starting to look so exhausted that even a sleeping cat would have more energy. Lucci, being the government dog that he is, tries to get into Zoro's head, calling him dead weight and a burden to his crew. He says the Straw Hats will never escape if they have to wait for him, so Zoro should just give up and let his friends live. But Zoro just laughs, mocking Lucci as if he were telling a bad joke. Do you really think I'm in a position to make demands? Look, I haven't even put on my bandana yet. On the coast, the situation is pure chaos. Pacifistas are attacking the marine fleet as if they were in a video game, sinking another ship with a laser beam. A report comes in that 30, almost a third of the entire Buster Call force and nearly half of their smaller ships have been destroyed. Vice Admiral Red King, a cyborg that looks like he stepped out of a sci-fi movie, is furious. He orders all the smaller ships to retreat and let the massive warships lead the charge. They open fire on the Pacifistas, and Red King looks so disgusted that it seems like he had to order the destruction of his own toys. Back in the center of the island, we find Luffy floating in the air in his full Gear 5 form. He looks down at Bonnie and casually asks her why she's crying, as if he were the class psychologist. Bonnie, still overwhelmed, manages to say she's been looking for him for so long. Luffy, totally confused, replies, "But I've been right here waiting for you the whole time." She tries to explain that she was looking for Na, and Luffy, poor guy, just asks, "What is Na?" Before she can even answer, he changes the subject, telling her that the punch she threw earlier was so weak it could be mistaken for a finger snap. Bonnie rolls with it, saying if it was so weak, he should show her how a real Na punch works. She points right at Saturn, her voice filled with rage, saying they need vengeance for what he did to Vegapunk. That's when Luffy finally sees the poor doctor impaled and dying on the ground. The goofy smile vanishes from his face like magic. Saturn, completely unrepentant, declares that none of them have a right to live, but Luffy just rejects that outright. Saturn glares, unleashing that same invisible eye power that paralyzed everyone before, slams into Luffy, knocking his head back and drawing blood, proving this weird power isn't something Gear 5 can just cartoonishly ignore. But we're talking about Luffy here. He grits his teeth and yells that Saturn is going to pay. He pulls both his giant fists back and unleashes a brand new god tier attack, Gomu Go no Don Gatling. It's a storm of rapid-fire hockey-infused punches that just mercilessly hammer Saturn's face. The Five Elder has no defense, no backup plan, nothing. He's just sent flying, smashing through building after building. The satisfaction on Bonnie, Kuma's, and even Vegapunk's faces says it all. Hold up, if Luffy's Don Gatling on Saturn got you hyped, smash that subscribe button to stay in the game. Drop a like too. Gets this recap to more One Piece fans. Let's dive back into the madness of Egghead. With Saturn temporarily out of the picture, Frankie tells Bonnie it's time to go. She rushes to Vegapunk trying to get him to move, but the old man knows it's over. He tells her with his medical knowledge that moving him now would kill him instantly. But before they can even process that, Kizaru is back. He's floating above them, charging a laser, his face a mask of conflict. He knows he has to do this, but you can tell he doesn't want to. He closes his eyes and fires, but Sanji appears out of nowhere like a true superhero. He intercepts the laser beam with a kick, sending sparks flying like in a fireworks show. Frankie is gobsmacked. Kizaru's jaw is on the floor, and we've never seen the Admiral look this shocked. It's like Enel seeing Luffy tank his lightning for the first time. Sanji just coolly says that love shines brighter than light, but you can see his eyebrow has switched to the Germa 66 pattern. His genetic augmentations are kicking in. Kizaru, completely bewildered, mutters that if that's how it worked, we wouldn't need physics. Frankie and Atlas grab Bonnie and Kuma and take off, heading for the coast to meet up with the giants. Kizaru holds his head, his mission a total failure. All he has left are Luffy and Sanji, who just laughs at him. Sanji lights a cigarette and tells the Admiral he better start working on his apology letter for screwing this up so badly. What an absolute legend. Meanwhile, Saturn is slowly pulling himself from the rubble when two figures appear. It's Katarina Devon and Van Augur of the Blackbeard pirates. Devon just laughs, calling the sight of a Gorosei lying in the dirt delicious. She steps forward, puts her hand on Saturn's spider leg, and happily declares, "Mission complete!" Thanks to her mythical nine-tailed fox devil fruit, she can now transform into one of the 5 most powerful figures in the world. Saturn is furious, demanding to know what they are doing here. He finds it bizarre that a notorious criminal from level 6 of Impel Down would choose to serve anyone, but Devon just chuckles and says that Teach is special. Saturn's eyes narrow. He agrees, adding his bloodline as well. Devon is shocked he knows. Is he talking about the D-Clan, or could Blackbeard be part of a special race? It would explain his abnormal body and how he can hold 2 devil fruits. Saturn demands to know what their goal is. Van Augur, barely even looking at him, gives a one-word answer that shakes the very foundation of the world. The world. They're not just after the One Piece. They want it all, just like Rox D. Zebek. Saturn attacks, but Augur warps them away with his devil fruit. They're still on the island. Augur admits his powers aren't perfected yet, but they're out of immediate danger. And just as they're about to leave, they get another surprise. A slimy figure comes running towards them crying. It's Caribou. He goes full fanboy, calling them by their titles and begging them to let him meet Blackbeard. He idolizes Teach and became a pirate because of him. And this is catastrophic because Caribou knows everything. He overheard that Poseidon is Shirahoshi and that the ancient weapon Pluton is sleeping beneath Wano. He's about to hand the keys to 2 of the 3 most dangerous weapons in history directly to the Blackbeard pirates. That's episode 1141. Luffy finally getting vengeance for Vegapunk, the Blackbeard pirates copying the Gorosei's form, and Caribou spilling secrets about the ancient weapons hit hard. This recap got you amped. Smash that like button and comment below to spread it to more One Piece fans. It'll get the next one out quick. Subscribe to keep the hype alive, and I'll catch you next time.